Hey up all, and welcome to another Hengist Wild Camps. Well, I'm back in the Peak District, and I'm with my good friend Brian from Glossop Wild Camping.
Hello there.
And we're currently heading up from Moorfield in Glossop towards Moss Castle, and then we're going to jump on Pennine Way towards Mill Hill. And like ancient Greece and Sparta and the Peloponnesian League, that's Brian today. He's in charge of the expedition. Where he leads, I shall follow. We're going to a place that his friend Tim, who you might have seen on Brian's videos, has done a recce on, and Tim's joining us later. It's a bit chilly. I've just put this waterproof shell on for a bit of wind protection. I've taken my lightweight fleece off so I don't get too hot. And yeah, this is probably the steepest part of the walk, would you say?
Possibly, yes, possibly.
But no, once we get to Mill Hill, it should be fairly downhill, shouldn't it?
At the top of the path here, it does get a bit boggy, so we'll need the old grockle poles.
Oh yes, four-wheel drive. Right, well, I'll show you some views as we're heading along, because it's a lovely day. You can see behind me, blue sky, sun's out. We've got about 3 hours before it gets dark. So for the moment, we're going to plod on. Well, we've just stopped. We're about halfway up towards Moss Castle and the Pennine Way, and I put my hat on because it's getting a bit cold, and I put my sunglasses on because it is an absolutely beautiful day. Although it's biting cold, it's absolutely lovely, and the sun, because it's winter, it's still quite low in the sky, and it was getting in my eyes a bit. And as you know, you probably heard me say, my eyes always water. So I've got a bit of wind protection on my eyeballs.
Sets the nose off as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got a runny nose as well, but that's all my sinuses clearing, being healthy and walking. Well, before I was saying that this is really the only hill, because I thought once we got to Mill Hill, we'd be tracking along the side of Kinder. But Brian's informed me, no, we're going up Ashford Head and then walking along the top of the plateau, then down. I think we're following the wall down to Kinder Downfall, towards Mermaid's Pool, I should say. So there is going to be a bit more of a climb, but it's not that bad.
You don't get away with it that easy.
No.
You got to ramble.
No, I'm not great at walking up hills. Never like doing it. Well, I'll plod on for the moment. I'll show you some more views when we get up to the top near Pennine Way. Well, we've made it up to Moss Castle and Pennine Way. In that direction, we've got Mill Hill. But just stopped because the wind is a bit biting. I don't know if you can see over there behind Brian. That's higher shelf stones and lower shelf stones. And there's bits of snow on the top. And you can really feel the chill now we're up here. And there's lots of ice around, so we may have to avoid the path in places because it's like sheet ice. But luckily all the bog is frozen. We were commenting on it as we were walking up. Brian was leading the charge and I was bravely following behind. And I kept saying, is it boggy over there? And he said, no, it's frozen. As I said, we're going to plod along Pennine Way now up towards Mill Hill, and then we'll be going up Ashford Head. And I might stop when we get to Mill Hill because I took my fleece off when I put this waterproof shell on, for a bit of wind protection. But I'm feeling the cold, but I don't know if that's because we've just stopped. I'll soon warm up when I'm walking, but if I do start feeling the cold, then I'll take my bag off and put that fleece back on. Right, well, we'll plod on for the moment, and I'll see you in a bit. Well, we've just arrived at Mill Hill and I've stopped to get my balaclava on because it's got a bit cold. I've got my micro fleece in my bag, which I took off, and it's not too bad when you're moving. It's when you stop like this you notice the cold. Well, next we've got Asher Head to go up, and then we're on top at Plateau. And as you can see, there's a dusting of snow up on tops, but all the paths look clear. Right, well, I want to get moving again so I can keep warm. I'll show you some views as we're plodding along, and once we get up Asher Head and we're on top at Plateau, I'll probably speak to you again up there. But for the moment, we're going to plod on. If I seem a bit out of breath, that's because I am. We've just come up Asher Head and we're at the little cairn. And behind me over there, I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder, down there is Kinder Res. Oh, by gum. I was a bit chilly before at Mill Hill. I'm not now. That warmed me up coming up there. Don't need to put my fleece on. Taking sunglasses off because it's clouded over a bit over there. But it's still a lovely day. It's just a bit chilly in the wind, that's all. Well, we've got the hardest bit out of the way now, haven't we, Bri? As far as elevation goes. We've just got to plod up there in the direction of Kinder Downfall. And I think before we get to the downfall, we'll be taking a path on the right, won't we? Yeah. That goes down. So yeah, we're on top of the plateau now. So we're going to plod along in that direction, as I was saying.
I'm going to fill Steve doing videos there. Very biting. Because holding the ground, turn our attention to getting our tents on right now. What are you thinking?
Yeah, all right, I am. Well, we've arrived at our campsite and it's bloody cold. Whoa, place is full of snow, as you can see. I'm thinking of getting my tent up just here. I want a little bit of a slope, but I've slept in worse. Wind's coming from this way, so ideally I want that side of my tent into wind. I forgot to mention, I've got a new tent. It's the Nortent Vern 1. After the disaster that I had with the fabric failing on the fly last week, I thought I could do with something a bit more sturdier. Anyway, I'll talk to you about it once I've got it up. Right, well, I'm not going to hang around. I'm going to get my tent up now because there's about half an hour left of daylight. I think sun's already gone down. So I'll get on with putting my tent up, and once I've got some shelter, I'll speak to you then. Well, folks, I finally got my tent up. Sorry I couldn't show you around, but by the time I'd got it up, it's the first time I've ever pitched it, it had gone dark. So what I'll have to do in the morning is show you around then. I'm glad to get out of that wind. I've got my rucksack at the side of me. It's a very spacious tent, this. The porch area, you've got that again inside the tent behind you. So I've got my rucksack there. I've got my sleeping bag lofting up. I've got my X-Ped R-Value 5.2 mat inflated. I've gone back to using my, I don't know if you can see it, roll-up silver mat rather than that easy sleeper mat, because I caught it on some barbed wire last week and tore it. And I noticed when I got home, I'd managed to do it again going through a sty where there was barbed wire and made another tear on it. So I thought, sod it, I'll just go back to using this thing. This always did all right in the past. Well, I've got my down trousers on, got my down boots on, synthetic puffer jacket. I've pulled my micro fleece out of my bag, I've put that on as well. Still got my balaclava and hat on, and I'm lovely and warm. As you've probably heard me say before, regardless of whether or not it's dark or there's snow on the ground or it's sunny and lovely and warm and you're sat outside. This is my favourite part of the camp. When you've got your tent pitched and you've got everything kind of sorted inside and you can just start to slow down, relax and go, ah. Yeah, there was something I forgot to do there. I forgot to unpack tonight's sustenance. I'll just turn the camera around and show you what I've got. Well, I can't be bothered cooking tonight, so I've got 2 Tesco's ham and cheese slices. There's my stove, pots, pans, everything's in there. I've got some squashes drumsticks. I've got some coffee, whitener, etc. in a little bag there for morning. And, of course, I've got my 4 tins of McEwen's Champion 7.3. I'm loving this tent. I'll have a talk to you about it in a minute or two, but now I'm all sorted. My thoughts are turning to, you've guessed it, a tin of McEwen's Champion 7.3. Whoa. I'll just crack it open. Whoa, that smells good. Well, tonight's beer is courtesy of Colin and Leslie. Thanks very much, both of you. I really appreciate this. Well, folks, it's time to have a taste. So, as per usual, I'll say good health and cheers. By gum. That's good beer. Whoa, it's cold beer as well. Brr. I might bring it inside tent, see if it warms up a little bit. Right, well, I'm just going to slurp this and then I'll bring you back, and as I said, I'll have a little chat with you about this tent. Well, the time's just gone 8 o'clock. I've had my first tin of beer and I've just been chatting with Brian. Time's flown by. I'm thinking I'll have a bite to eat. So I'm going to try one of these ham and cheese slices. Oh, it smells nice. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, that's really nice, that. I just had a flashback to being a kid. What it reminds me of, the taste. When I was a nipper, there used to be these little tiny tins. They were by Heinz and they were called toast toppers. And you spread them on top of your toast. And there used to be one called ham and mushroom, I think. And it just, well, the ham taste just gave me a flashback to what they used to taste like. Well, I'm going to eat this first pasty, slice, whatever they're called. And then think about having a second tin of beer. So I'm going to eat this while it's still cold. And I'll see you in a bit. Well, I've just eaten that ham and cheese slice. My first course. Got another one here. Going to save that for a bit later. But as you can see in my hand, I'm about to crack open my second tin of McEwen's Champion 7.3. Whoa. It's really cold. I mean, real ale, you should drink it at room temperature, like a fine wine. It's not like lager where you want it chilled. But I've got no choice. I'm lying on top of snow. So I'll just crack it open. Oh, it's a frothy one. Well, everybody at home, once again, good health and cheers. By gum, that's still good beer.
By gum!
That's Brian. If you didn't know, which you already did, because you can't miss him.
I just love trashing videos.
Cheers, mate. I'll make sure I return the favour. Yeah. I won't. I'm too polite. Well, I'm going to get back to this, have a chat with Bri, and I'll catch up with you later. I hope you can see me alright in this light. It looks alright on the little screen that I'm looking at. Well, as you saw before, I opened my second tin of beer, and Tim has just turned up. So there's 3 of us here now, the gang are here, and oh, take my hat off to Tim, he's walked up here in dark. Don't think I would have done that. What a brave man. Well, it's round 2 of my evening meal, so I'm just going to have my second slice, and then for afters, I've got some squashes drumsticks, which I'll share with lads, because there's been talk of when Tim's got his ginormous tent up, when he's sorted, which will be a while from now, I'm going to put my boots on. Well, there's talk of me and Bri going over to his tent and all just sitting in Tim's tent for a bit and having a chat. So I'll bring camera over when I do that. As I said, it's a while off yet. I'm going to eat this, and I did say I'd have a talk to you about this tent, but I'll do that after I've eaten. See you in a bit. Well, wind's picked up a little bit. It's no way as strong as it was on my last camp, but it's still nice to know that in this tent I don't think anything similar is going to happen to what happened to my Tetri on that last camp. Well, I've had me 2 cheese slices, and if I can get these open, it's time for an afters. Because it's so cold, they've all like frozen together. Oh, there's one that's on its own. Well, I'm just about to finish tin number 2. Still good beer. I'll just pop it in here, my rubbish bag. And I think I'll go for tin number 3. Why not? Bugger all else to do. Well, I'll just get it cracked open. Well, everybody at home, once again, good health and cheers. Hey, by gum, that's still good beer. I'll just pop it in my boot. Ooh, it's a cold night tonight. I'm not in my sleeping bag, I've just got it draped over the top of me. It's lovely and warm. Well, I'm just going to drink about half a tin of that and I'll bring you back. And as I said, I'll have a little talk with you about this tent. Welcome back. I'm nearly at the end of my 3rd tin of beer. I'm saving my 4th tin of beer because we're going to go over to Tim's tent because he's got a massive tent. It'll fit all 3 of us in, and we're going to go over there and have a bit of a chat with each other. But I was saying I was going to tell you about this tent. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, even back in the days when I couldn't afford a decent camera, I've got quite a few tents, but I've never paid more than 140 quid for a tent. Even when they've cost more than that, I've waited sometimes up to 6 months until they've gone on sale and bought them at a reduced price. As I said, I've never paid more than 140 quid for a tent in all the years that I've been wild camping. And, you know, as long as you don't go out in stupid winds, they've been all right. I mean, I've had tents collapse on me in the past, years ago. But a tent like this is out of my price bracket. I mean, you've probably seen the car that I drive, which I've owned for 26 years. And you've probably seen the clothes that I wear. I mean, you don't see me decked out in rab gear. It comes from Tesco's, the kind of stuff that I wear. Like this jacket, for example. Synthetic puffer jacket. 27 quid from Amazon. Amazon's Essentials. What I do if it's cold, I stick an extra t-shirt on or put some long johns on. Well, as I was saying, there's no way that I could afford a tent like this. And I've got to admit, I didn't buy this tent. After my video last week, where the fly failed on my Tetri, the poles, brilliant. You know, of all the guiding out points, really strong. It was the fabric on the fly that failed. A good mate of mine who I've known for 40 years, he sent me a message, and he knows I'm not rolling in money. He says, I've just ordered and bought you a Nortent Vern 1. I was gobsmacked. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a present that's been bought for me like that in my adult life. I can't thank him enough. I mean, I was bowled over. What a generous, nice person he is. I offered to pay him back £100 a month, but he said, nah, when we go camping together, he said, the pub meals are on you after. So, as far as I'm concerned, for the next few years, 3, 5 years, whatever it is, I'm going to buy every pub meal when we end up in pub. But it's a cracking tent. I mean, the wind's picking up. It's nowhere near as strong as it was last week. But it's just so nice to be in a space where you think, this ain't going to fall down. The fabric's not going to fail. It's not going to tear. It's a beautiful tent. I absolutely love it. So thanks, mate. I can't say this enough. You're one of the best. It's brilliant. I think I said on Facebook that I would post some pictures of the campsite. But because it was dark and it was cold and there's still snow on the ground where we are now, I just wanted to get some shelter. But what I'll do later on, when we go over to Tim's tent, is, as well as checking the guidelines while I get out of the tent, I'll try and take a few shots of the tent in the dark. Won't be the best. But what I'll do before I take the tent down in the morning is I'll get out and I'll video our campsite, because we're in a nice little spot. We're not down near Mermaid's Pool. We're slightly higher. In fact, I could see people walking along the edge path with their head torches on about 2 hours ago. And it's only about 200 yards away. So yeah, I'll video the campsite in the morning and show you where we've camped. And I'll also bring you back when we go over to Tim's tent in a bit. But for the moment, I'm just going to finish off this 3rd tin of beer. I'm saving my 4th tin for when I go over to Tim's tent. I'll see you in a bit. Well, I've slipped my boots on. I've not laced them up. And I've got 1 tin of beer left. Just get rid of that cardboard. And I'm going to venture out outside the tent and walk over to Tim's. So I'll see you over there. Right, I'm out of the tent. There's mine. There's Brian's. And I believe Tim's is behind this rock somewhere. So let's walk over. There it is. Right, I'll try not to slip in this snow. Whoa! Hello there. Hello, neighbour.
Welcome to the communal area.
I'll take my boots off before I come in.
Yeah.
Yay! All right, lads.
Hey up, lad.
Well, here I am with Tim.
Ooh.
And you've met Brian before. And I've got to say, Tim, this is a cracking tent. It's really warm, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've got no gloves on, and obviously I felt the cold while I was walking over, but for such a big tent, this is really warm. Well, Brian's on his whiskey. Tim's on, what's that you're drinking?
This is actually Black Forest vodka, believe it or not.
Oh, Black Forest vodka.
Yeah, it's on, and
Yeah.
this is rhubarb and custard.
Rhubarb and custard. And, well, you can guess what I'm on. This is my last tin of Champion, so I'll just get it cracked open.
And we'll just sort of tell you, we've got Ardbeg later. Bit of Ardbeg.
What's
whiskey. Ardbeg whiskey.
Yeah, it's a very strong peated whiskey.
Yeah, it's part of
Are
the
you saying that because I can have some?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
brilliant. Well, folks, this is going to be a good night. Well, everybody at home, let's do a group cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers all, and good health.
I think it's a win factor.
E-bygone, folks. That's still good beer.
You buy gum, that's good vodka.
Ooh, I like a bit of rhubarb and custard.
Well, I'm going to get back to chat with lads, have a few drinks, and I might turn camera on later. Depends how rude the conversations get, or the language that's used. probably be me that would be doing the language.
Yeah, it will.
Well, don't agree with me. Anyway, catch you in a bit.
I'm going to close my tent door.
This is very much part of it though, Steve. You know, you want to take the area in properly.
Yeah, I'd sooner do it in daylight. Well, there's less chance of injuring myself. Oh, brilliant. In fact, the night picked up when we went in your tent. That was the highlight of this evening, to be honest, when we're all like sat there drinking and having whiskies and vodkas and things.
Regarded as the communal wonder.
Your tent's brilliant, mate. I didn't realise how big it was, and what surprised me, for a big tent, once you get in it, it's bloody warm.
Yeah. It's 3.3 kilograms that.
Yeah, well, that's only 300 grams heavier than my Tetri. This thing, I think, is about 2.7 with the footprint.
Yeah, see, but you could use it in Antarctica.
My mate, who said use this trekking pole hack just to pull that weak point out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well,
that's crazy thickness. That.
Where the poles cross, lean on that bit there. You can put your whole weight on it and it won't collapse.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. I'm not going to do that.
It's a sturdy tent.
Yeah, no. So a 50-mile-an-hour wind would do that. Yeah. You've got your ventilation here.
Yeah, and if I didn't have this trekking pole going at that angle, there's a little thing that you can clip on there to keep it open. Because, well, when it comes down this way, originally how it was intended, that's where that's supposed to clip on. But I suppose I could put a little bit of shock cord on there, a loop, and then clip it on there. I might do that.
It's like next level, this.
Three Musketeers here.
Yay! That's far enough for me. I'm going back. See you later. Let me know when you get back that you're safe. Otherwise, I'll come back and rescue you. Like Thunderbirds. See you later, lads. Oh, I absolutely love this tent. Well, it's very dark, and I'm gonna get back in my tent and finish this can of beer off. I'll see you when I'm back inside. Well, the lads are back, and I'm really pleased about that. Not got lost or broken their ankles down a ankle breaker or anything. And yeah, I'll just turn the camera around and say good night to everybody.
You see, we're experienced here, lads.
Experienced.
Yeah, you're experienced campers and you know what you're doing. Right. It's just that I'm a wimp. And yeah, if anyone's going to break their ankle, it'd be me.
You probably would have been fine. Anyway, good night all.
Good night all.
Yeah.
Cracking night, lads.
Yeah, cracking night.
Brian, Tim,
Yeah,
brilliant night.
Nice one.
See you all later.
Yeah,
see you in the morning.
Bye.
See you, mate.
Well, everybody, I'm back inside my tent, nice and cosy and warm. And Brian and Tim have just returned. I've just been having a chat with them, and they're back safely. So my worries about ankle breakers were unfounded. As I said on video, they know what they're doing. They're experienced wild campers. Well, I'm still on my fourth tin of beer, surprisingly enough. Tim has been plying me with whiskey, and Brian gave me some vodka, which was like laced with fruit. It wasn't that strong, but my God, that vodka was really tasty. And the whiskey that Tim gave me, it tasted like smoky, like that flavour you get off smoky bacon. I'm going to drink this last bit of Champions McEwen's 7.3. So, Good health, everybody, and cheers. Well, for final time tonight, by gum, that's good beer. Right, well, I'm just going to get myself sorted out in sleeping bag. I think I'll put radio on, see what's happening on wireless, and I'll bring you back in a minute or two. I'm just going to bed down. Well, folks, it's approaching 12:30. It might have gone 12:30. I'm not quite sure, but I've had a bloody brilliant night. Excuse my language. And I'm really thankful for Brian for inviting me out, and I'm especially thankful, I can't express it in words, to my mate who bought me this tent. What a star. He deserves a mention, but I know he wouldn't like it if I named him. But yeah, in total, what an excellent night I've had tonight. I mean, Brian invited me out, and I've met Tim, and I've seen Tim on Brian's videos, and I've always thought he's a good bloke, and it's been great to meet him tonight. This has been a really good wild camp. We've got to be up early tomorrow, so I'm going to get my head down now. So I'll just say to everybody, good night all, and I'll see you at morning. Good morning, everybody. The time is just before 7:30. It's before dawn, but it's getting daylight outside. Oh, I had a really good sleep. Woke up about 6 o'clock with jets flying over. There's one going over now. Didn't get woken up by grouse this time. And then, yeah, I didn't want to get up and start making noise because, you know, I'm with others. So I was just lying here for about an hour, watching it get brighter and brighter outside. Oh, but I'm pretty much awake now, although still a bit sleepy. And I think, yeah, it's time to stick the head out the door and see what it's like. Well, as you just saw, it's very claggy. Visibility is about 20 yards. Right, well, I think it's time to get a brew on. Well, before I get a brew on, I've dived out my tent because I think I said last night I would show you around the campsite. So here's my new Nortent Vern 1. Best tent I've ever owned in my life. Cracking tent. And I've done these mods, which my mate told me about. Wasn't needed last night, but look at that. I mean, I'm leaning on that with all my body weight, and it's not shifting. Yeah, we've got a nice little spot. Mermaid's Pool is down there, about 400 yards. And we're on this nice little flat bit here next to these rocks. Well, as I said, I'll just continue walking around my tent. There's Brian's. And where's Tim's? Tim's is just down there. You can see the top of his tent behind that rock. But it's a crispy, icy, snowy morning. But I don't think it feels that cold, funnily enough. I've got like icicles on my tent and things. Brian's just told me it's -1 at the moment, but don't feel like that to me. You know, wind on my hands. It felt much colder last night. Well, it probably was colder. Right, well, I'm going to dive back in my tent and get a brew on. Well, I've got my tent door open, and I will just pull this footprint back a bit so I can put my stove on ground.
Right, I think my kettle's boiled. Well, my pan of water's boiled. Oh, yes. Oh, right, let's make a brew. Well, lads are up. I can hear, well, Brian's just been over, just had a chat with him. And I've packed my sleeping bag away, but before I do anything else, I need a brew. So let's see what it's like. Like a cup of coffee, I would imagine. Oh. Oh, that's nice. I think I'll put wireless on, see what's happening in the world. Oh, just have another swig of my brew. Well, I'm going to drink this. As I said, I've already made a start on packing up. I've put my sleeping bag away, deflated my pillow. I'm just still on my air mat for a bit of insulation. I'll get that drunk and I'll start doing rest. And I'll see you in a bit. Well, that's me out of the tent. Everything's packed up. Got my rucksack on, suited and booted, ready for the off. Tim and Bri, they're all ready. They've just been waiting for me because I'm a slow coach. Just here is where I was camping. And I'm doing my usual last look around for any tent pegs, or more importantly, any little bits of rubbish. But it's absolutely spotless. Like we all do, we leave no trace so others can enjoy it. Oh, what an enjoyable camp this has been. Great company, a few laughs, a few beers, and yeah, some really nice snowy weather. Right, well, my trekking poles and gloves are there on ground. I'll get them on, and I think we'll plod up there to Edge Path and then just follow that back down to Ashiphead. I would show you some views along the way, but as you can see if I spin round, it's absolutely clagged out. Visibility is about 20-30 yards, so what I'll probably do is speak to you as we get a bit lower, see if it clears. Right, well, I'll get my gloves on, as I said, and plod on.
Everything's totally frozen.
Yeah.
Even this.
Even the mud.
All right. Still let it play off.
Well, that's me back at the car. Just stopped this second, so still a little bit out of breath, even though it was all downhill. Well, it was icy and snowy up there. The paths were all covered up, and the visibility was down. And me and Brian, who's just there, we made a wrong turning. Somehow, when we got to Sandy Hayes, we went off the path. And it was quite funny, actually, because about 3 times we both were saying to each other, I don't remember coming up here, and what we were doing was dropping off down into William Clough. So on the third occasion where I said, this don't look right, got the GPS out, and it was like, yeah, we're not on the right path. So we had to walk all the way back up, and it was really steep. And
Ashiphead again, wasn't it?
yeah, it took us like about half an hour, didn't it, going down and back up. Yeah, it's been a cracking camp. Cheers for inviting me out, Brian. Really enjoyed it.
I say, mate.
Well, what I'm going to do next is get this kit off, chucking it back at car. Going to give Brian a lift into Glossop, and then I'll start the drive home from there. But before I do that, I just want to say thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. And as I always say at the end of my videos, I'll look forward to your comments because I do enjoy reading those and replying to them. Well, as I said, I'm going to get this kit off, get it back at car. Well, on that note, there's really nothing further to say. So until next time, when I'll see you for another Hengist Wild Camps, it's cheerio from me. Goodbye all.